In the first ruling of its kind, a federal judge in Pennsylvania said today the president's executive actions regarding immigration exceeded his constitutional authority and cited the president's own speeches and remarks on that issue. Judge Arthur Schwab writes, quote, President Obama contended that although legislation is the most appropriate course of action to solve the immigration debate, his executive action was necessary because of Congress's failure to pass legislation acceptable to him in this regard, adding, quote, Congress's lawmaking power is not subject to presidential supervision or control. Perceived or actual congressional inaction does not endow legislative power with the executive. Judge Schwab went on to hold that the president's actions on immigration crossed the line, amounted to legislation, and changed U.S. immigration policy. The decision comes in the case of a man who entered the country illegally years ago and was deported in 2005. He re-entered the country illegally but wasn't caught until he was arrested on DUI charges earlier this year in Pennsylvania. Prior to sentencing the man, the judge asked the parties to provide their legal opinions on how the president's recent immigration announcements could possibly impact the judge's sentencing decision, and that led to today's ruling. Schwab added that although presidents do enjoy prosecutorial discretion on a case-by-case basis, President Obama's sweeping pronouncement involving entire classes of persons in the U.S. illegally went, in Schwab's opinion, far beyond what is legally permissible.
Court judge today deciding that his executive fiat was unconstitutional on two grounds. The reality is that's got to play out in court, and it's interesting, to me at least, that the White House immediately dismissed the judge, saying he's flatly wrong. This president is highly authoritarian. He really doesn't believe that you and the Congress have, if you will, co-equal status with him, nor obviously the judicial branch either.
I agree, and that was the purpose of this bill. We saw this action coming back in May and June, and we had this bill prepared to drop and introduce to the Congress on November 20th. It was already vetted. We had outside attorneys like Bruce Fein, that was an assistant attorney general under Ronald Reagan, along with other legal scholars, and said the president is clearly overstepping the rule of law, and that rule of law is our Constitution. And if our president and our administration doesn't follow the rule of law, why should anybody else? With his policies, he's amplified and created a global policy on enforcement that's going to make this situation worse. And if you really, really want to fix immigration, wait till the new people that have been brought into Congress, into the people's house, and I think the people spoke loud and clear. They don't like the direction that we're going. They don't like unilateralism. And give us time to fix the immigration process. I don't know anybody in Congress on either side that is against responsible immigration reform, and we have measures that we want to introduce at the first of the year to start with this. But to do what he's done is damaging to America, and it's damaging to our Constitution. And if President Obama believes in the Constitution as a constitutional scholar, he'll stop this action and let us fix it the proper way.
Congressman, he's made it pretty clear what he believes in and what he doesn't. He's not going to give you all
on our side too where we stand, and
well,
you know, I'm really
it's not so
honored
clear, if I may say, Congressman, because your leadership has had the opportunity with 4 bills reported out of the Judiciary Committee that John Boehner could have easily taken the lead for the Republican Party with that legislation and driven immigration reform to a logical, rational conclusion and solution in the national interest. He chose not to. I've supported Congressman Goodlatte's bills. I think they're the intelligent approach that the country needs. Why in the world is your leadership not acting?
Well, you know, you'd have to ask Mr. Boehner on that.
Well,
what I can tell you,
I'd be delighted to, but do you have a sense as to why he's not?
Well, you know, there's so much contention in there. So many people want to start with border security and send out the message that we have to start with border security and enforcing the laws already on the book, to put more laws out there that this president and this administration's not following. And that, again, goes back to the Constitution, Article 2, Section 3, that the president shall take care to execute faithfully the laws of the land. And, you know, the thing with the omnibus bill that we just passed, over the last 2 years, we've been fighting on short-term resolutions, the CRs.
No,
and that was one of the reasons.
I understand, and I think you all did exactly the right thing. It was,
well, and that gives us time now. We can
absolutely a rational thing to do. But what I'm asking you is, what is your sense and other members' sense of what the leadership is going to do? Because, frankly, we've heard years of a lot of talk and not much effective action by the Republican majority in the House, joined now by the Senate. Do you believe you can carry this to a reasonable, rational conclusion?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a new Congress. The American people spoke. They handed us the baton. They expect us to show leadership, and that was one of the reasons I voted on this bill, because now from the first of the year, when we swear in as the new Congress, we can start fixing these problems that have been plaguing our country. Instead of doing crisis management with another CR for a short period of time, we can focus on these problems that our nation has put off, or Congress has put off. Immigration's been broke for over 30 years, and for the president to run ahead and do something unconstitutionally, illegally, is not going to fix it. And if he really cares about solving this problem, he'll wait to the new Congress.
Congressman, there you go again.
The president to do that.
There you go again. You all have got to quit worrying about what he's going to do and focus on what you got to do, if I may say so, with all due respect.
I'm trying to be very polite about this.
Well,
because we are going to stand up to this.
Don't waste that politeness here, because what our audience wants is straight talk, and I know that you're just the fellow to give it to them. We appreciate you being with us, Congressman. Ted Yoho.
I appreciate the opportunity to be on.
Thank you very much. We'll be talking a lot about the president's executive amnesty fiat. We'll be talking with the Attorney General of the great state of Oklahoma, Scott Pruitt, coming up here next.